So we're going to talk about stress, metabolism, and the HPA axis. So this is all the balancing act, right? So we want all of these areas to be in balance in order for your body to stay in homeostasis. So before we dive into the tools and strategies, we're going to start with wellness is not a straight path. A lot of people might try the same thing, but need to get to the end goal a little bit differently. So it's not just checking off the boxes. It's not just a straight line. It's dynamic and it's ongoing. So it's ever changing because each of us have a different history. We might have different traumas, different toxins, stressors, experiences, jobs, timelines. So of course our healing paths are going to look a little bit different too. So the goal is not perfection, the goal is progress and learning how to listen to your body and support it and keep showing up. So this is your permission to stop comparing your journey to someone else's and start trusting your own path. So the concept of total load, you can think of your body as a cup. So every stressor you encounter in your life, whether it's emotional, physical, chemical, environmental, that just keeps adding more drops to that cup. So a little bit of stress isn't really a big deal. That's a happy cup. The body can handle it. Maybe you are now managing some hormone issues or a few food sensitivities or dealing with environmental triggers like smoke or mold or pollen, and the water stays below the rim. So you're functioning, your body's staying resilient. But what happens when the drops keep coming without any way to drain them out? Well, then your cup gets overflowing. So that can be things like weight gain, fatigue, anxiety, constipation, skin issues, bloating, brain fog. And those aren't just random. Those are signals that your body's saying like, hey, I'm maxed out. And we got to work on opening that drain and calming the nervous system back down. So this is an area where sometimes I see people, they do the reset and then they have a really stressful moment in their life and they can't figure out how to calm the nervous system back down. I want you to remember to tap back into, the inner voice audio tones. We are going to do some journaling today. So grab a piece of paper or open up a screen on your computer, and we're going to kind of break this down and seeing what those trigger areas are for you. So one of the first ones I want you to think about are, what are the top 3 stressors currently filling up your cup? The top 3 stressors, this could be a job, this could be a person, it could be a task. It could be something that you're avoiding that's just kind of looming over you. Maybe you need to take care of yourself and you're avoiding it. And you can also think of this as, where in my life do I feel like I'm overflowing? So is there an area where you're putting a lot of energy into that you're not getting much out of? Another analogy is, what are the rocks in your backpack? So if you're holding a backpack and there's really heavy rocks in it, of all the stress, what rocks can you take out of your backpack? Or what rocks can you delegate to somebody else so you're not carrying all the rocks by yourself? So the cup emphasizes the importance of the truth we all need to hear. So we need to make sure we're having a strong foundation, and we can't get around that strong foundation if we want to feel our best. So you don't need to be perfect, but your body is always responding to the environment you are in. So we can't get away from making healthy food choices. Your cells are literally built from what you eat. So it's not about restriction, it's about nourishment. Some of you might have seen some of my posts on fasting. I will say that is a different way to look at your health and to do that deep cellular cleanup. That is a good choice if it is a chosen thing you are doing. So if you are intentionally doing a fast that is healing and nourishing to the body, if you are just not eating because you don't feel like cooking, that's a little bit different. So we want to make sure you're still nourishing your body with proteins, with veggies, with fruits, and you're getting the nourishment you need for your body to rebuild and repair and not just not eating because you don't have time. So make sure we focus on the clean water. So I recommend the distilled water, then there's no contaminants in the water because hydration supports everything from your detox to your digestion to your mood. And oftentimes tap water is filled with things like chlorine, fluoride, heavy metals, arsenic, radiation. There's a lot of toxins, and that actually interferes with the microbiome in your gut. So those toxins can actually kill the good bacteria and allow the bad bacteria to thrive. So we want to be building up the good guys, not the bad guys. Clean air. So this is a big thing right now, especially in the northern half of the US, is there's a lot of wildfires in Canada. So if your air is full of, smoke or mold or even synthetic fragrances, I think of this as there is a business that I go to and the bathroom has, I think, 3 air fresheners in it. And I like go to the bathroom as fast as I can and get out as fast as I can because I can't stand being in there because it's so heavy. It almost gives me just like an instant heaviness or headache. And that taxes your body. So even if you're eating all the right foods, if you're around all these toxins, that interferes with your body's ability to heal and shift into that parasympathetic state. So then looking at the sun, so it is summertime, getting sunlight is beneficial. So your circadian rhythm depends on the sun, which also rules your metabolism and your sleep and your mood. So going outside, especially within the first hour of waking up, trying to take your glasses off and at least get your eyes exposed to the sun for 10 minutes helps to balance out your circadian rhythm. Watching the sunrise or sunset helps to balance out your circadian rhythm. If you're outside and can put your feet barefoot in the grass, that's another great thing too. And then try and make your home a sanctuary. So our home should feel like a safe place, not a stressful place. So if you have a lot of clutter, if you have some toxins you know are there that you can get rid of, if you have the wall plugins, just go unplug them and throw them away. You're going to be better off. So we want to create an environment that is safe and not stressful to promote that calming. And then making better, healthier everyday choices. So, like what you put on your skin, how you start your day, how you respond to stress, those all matter. I was actually just listening to a podcast today about how when you wake up in the morning, that is your most impactful time to do your positive affirmations. So if you wake up and you first look at your phone and you check your Facebook and you check your emails, all you're doing is reinforcing the patterns that you thought yesterday. So instead of doing that, don't check your phone, just leave it, right? And go and do some affirmation work. Go and do some meditation. Your brain is really active at that point to set your tone for the entire day. So that is how you change and rewire your brain is you have to do a different pattern. If you do the same thing every day and expect a different result, that's the definition of insanity. So you've got to change things up in order to get a different result. So which of these habits am I currently doing well? So maybe you're doing really well at getting sunshine or grounding or having a healthier home. And which one feels the hardest? So I'll go back to that last slide. So which one of these are you doing really well? And which one is the hardest for you? All of these things do impact the endocrine system. So you can think of this like a hormonal triangle. So every point affects the other points. So if we start at the top with the adrenals sit on top of the kidneys, and those are in charge of your circadian rhythm, how stressed out you are, what your stress response is, and even your inflammation levels. So if you're constantly in fight or flight, your adrenals are on overdrive and they burn out really fast. So when your adrenals are stressed, then your thyroid takes a hit. So your thyroid sets the base for your metabolism. That tells your body how fast or slow to burn your energy. But if the adrenals are yelling all day or your thyroid slows down to conserve energy, that can also lead to some of that fatigue, weight gain, and even hair loss. So if you feel like you need to balance those things out again, the reset spray is awesome for balancing out all of these hormones too. So even if you're more in the maintenance phase and you're going through a stressful time or you're having a stressful day, don't be afraid to add that spray back in. Then we've got your sex hormones like estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. And those shift depending on your age, your stress, what part of life that you're in. And when the adrenals and thyroid are out of sync, it actually throws off all of your sex hormones too. So that can look like mood swings, irregular cycles, PMS, low libido, or feeling just totally out of whack. So don't be afraid to go back to that reset spray if you need to, because all of these are connected. And the reset spray also helps to address all of those. So we want to make sure you're getting enough sleep, that you're pooping, and that we can decrease your stress level in different ways too. So you might feel like there is one certain hormone that's off in your body. So if there is a specific one, I want you to kind of tune into that. What feels the most out of balance? Adrenals, thyroid, or sex hormones? And how does stress show up in my energy, mood, or cycle? I know sometimes for women during ovulation time, you're a little bit more perky, you're a little bit more creative. And when it's time to have your cycle, you might just want to like curl up on the couch in a blanket and not talk to anyone. So, depending where you're at in your cycle, it might be affecting your mood as well. Think, has this hormone or this endocrine organ been out of balance in the past? What did you do to help support it? So for thyroid, for instance, I know myself, I like to add in some salt or some iodine, some not synthetic iodine, a supplement with iodine to help support the thyroid. You can even do essential oils topically right on your neck to help support the thyroid as well. So the importance of the HPA axis. So remembering that the HPA axis is the hypothalamus, pituitary, and adrenal axis. So that's your body's main response system. And that's what's playing a central role in whether you feel regulated or whether you feel completely burnt out. So cortisol is also at the center of the system, and that's called your stress hormone. So it's not just about stress, it's how your body manages energy, inflammation, and recovery. And the interesting thing is cortisol doesn't just stay inside your body. So when you're stuck in fight or flight, your body's energy of that cortisol can be felt up to a foot away. So you're not just experiencing it, you're actually broadcasting that energy out. So this might lead to your kids feeling it, your animals feeling it, your spouse feeling it, because your nervous system picks up on everyone else's too. So you want to heal that stress response because it's not just impacting you, it shifts your whole environment. So if you sleep in bed with your spouse, maybe you're not the stressed out one. Maybe they're stressed out all the time, and that energy is going on to you all night long when you're sleeping. That could be impacting your sleep. So be aware of who you're spending your time around and who's in close proximity to you, because that energy could be radiating out to you as well. So cortisol shifts your energy based on what your body perceives as a priority. So if you're always in survival mode, it keeps your body in that crisis mode. So that's why you can just kind of stall out or feel wired but tired. Your body's in that crisis mode and it's like, I gotta stay alert and ready, but I'm exhausted because I can't ever sleep. It also plays a role in your immune system. So if cortisol is constantly elevated or bottomed out, your immune system either overreacts or underreacts. So sometimes you see autoimmune flares or even food sensitivities at that point. And cortisol affects your healing and recovery. So if you're recovering from an illness, a hard workout, or even emotional trauma, your cortisol levels have to be balanced in order for your body to rebuild properly. So it goes back to that nervous system and calming that nervous system down. That's number one. And cortisol also helps to regulate your circadian rhythm and sleep. So if it isn't rising and falling at the right times of the day, it becomes nearly impossible to feel rested or energized no matter how much sleep you get. So nervous system work is huge. So don't just shove that to the side because it is an easy thing. You're like, I don't need to do breath work today. I don't need to listen to my tones today. I don't need to do any humming, right? It takes 5 minutes or less. Just take that time to calm that nervous system down and keep it there. So I want you to think, where might you be overextending yourself? Maybe it's a busy schedule in the summer. Maybe it's your job. Maybe you are doing two jobs. Where are you overextending yourself? So then the next one, stress. Everyone says, but I'm not stressed out. I'm fine. The voice doesn't lie. So inner voice tones, if you need some new ones of those, I'll definitely get some to you. And most of us think of the obvious stress, like you're running late or you have a lot of work pressure or you have a tough conversation you have to do, but that's just one part of it. Your body doesn't just react to emotional stress, it responds the same way to any kind of internal or external threat. So if your mind feels fine, your body might still be sounding an alarm. So if you have inflammation and chronic illness, that puts stress on your cells and immune system 24/7. If your blood sugar is going all over the place, that's metabolic stress. Food sensitivities are like silent stressors. So your body sees those as invaders and creates inflammation in response to those foods. If you flip to processed foods or low protein or not enough nutrients or not eating enough, that adds a burden to your entire system. If you're not sleeping or not waking up refreshed or you're dragging all day, your body isn't shifting to heal overnight. And inadequate breathing or that shallow chest breathing keeps your nervous system in the on mode, like you're always bracing for an impact. Over exercising or not giving yourself recovery time is another hidden form of stress. More isn't always better. Actually, if you oftentimes people exercise a lot so they can eat more calories. If you exercise less, you balance out your circadian rhythm and your sleep, and you eat less and still focus on protein and nourishing foods, then you don't have to exercise as much and you can still maintain your body too. So just because you don't feel emotionally stressed doesn't mean your body isn't under some sort of pressure. So that's all part of the total load that we talked about earlier. And we want to make sure we're lightening that load so the body's shifting into healing and repair. So when you say I'm fine, what are you actually feeling? I know for me, I'm fine is a big red flag. Usually people are covering something up when they say I'm fine. So what are you actually feeling? And where in your body are you feeling that? Is it a sense of denial? Do you always feel it in the same place? And then what would happen if you gave yourself permission to slow down? So some common mistakes to avoid is just believing that your journey is the same as everyone else's. So oftentimes, you see ads on TV or you hear ads on the radio and this is going to work for everyone, right? So what works for you might not work for someone else. So what works to calm your nervous system down might not be the same as someone else. So find what works the best for you because it's your body, it's your hormones, it's your stressors, it's your metabolism. They're all yours. So just like Goldilocks had to try all three beds before finding the one that was just right, you need to make sure you find what works for you. So we want to make sure that you have what you need. And I learned that a lot in the 5-day fast I did. So I did the fasting mimicking diet. And on day 5, I decided to not do any of the meal plan. I just felt like I needed to just do nothing at that point. So I didn't eat at all that day. And that's when I had the biggest breakthroughs. And the thing is I was determined I was going to finish this 5-day fasting mimicking diet. I was going to know exactly how it was all going to go, but my body was telling me no. So tap into that intuition and trust your body that it knows what it needs and don't just push through to push through. So your body is wise and listen to that. And then the second mistake is not taking action or not listening, right? So listen to those cues that your body's giving you and follow through with them. So my encouragement to you is just to start tuning into your body and giving yourself permission to start trying something different. So what is one small step that I can take today towards my healing? Maybe that is letting go of something that is overwhelming to you. Maybe that's finding a solution to one of your stressors that we talked about. Maybe it's adding in something to support your hormones or starting back on the reset spray. Focusing on drinking clean water. Releasing some emotions tied to the I'm fine aspect. Over the next week, I want you to commit to trying a different relaxation technique that you've never done before. Maybe this is breath work. Maybe this is the tones. Maybe it's some vagus nerve stimulation. Maybe it's essential oils, humming. So just cold therapy. There is a whole list of them that you can do to calm the nervous system down. I want you to try something you haven't tried before and see, does this work for you or does this not?